Hi, it's Beezy. It's April 6th, 2022, and it's day 24. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, day 24. Um, and it's been a good day, although I look around and think it couldn't possibly be 9 o'clock, 9 something my time, because I haven't got I haven't got nearly enough done on my list today. Um, but it was a good day, and it was a wonderful day um, because flow is coming in and gifts for me in um, only going a little freaked out, a soup zone now and then, and not too bad considering everything that I'm putting on my list and everything that I'm shifting in my life. Not too bad, not too bad. So I'll give myself that. Um, and the main thing I want to play with um, because it's such a deliciousness today of to see your creation, and when you're wanting big honking creations and you've leapt, there is no rug underneath you, there's no floor, and that Indiana Jones magical step over the thing is seems to go for galaxies wide. But so if I can do this, you can do this with the small things, and you can do it with big things. And that's really the whole idea, that right now we're all learning to trust fully ourselves and fully step into our power and help all those who, with a smile or whatever it is, who are just waking up to the shattering that's going on. And but most importantly, just for having fun and creating and co-creating and playing. And it's lovely. I've had some friends who have been co-creating this with me and having thoughts, and I'm not sure if she wants me to mention her name, but but one in particular is great fun. It's just great fun, and it makes the moments, all the moments, fun, and kind of playing with ideas, both way out there, magical and etheric, and others more tangible, like, okay, you don't have a house, so you don't have water, so how do you take a shower, and all those kinds of things. And to places of finding places that you can take the dogs when you're camping. So it's a whole range of fun things, but one of the most fun things is there's someone there who will text or talk or something, and so there might be a moment something's happened at work or something, and I might be just skirting the edge of and a text come in and says, how about this for the cat? Right. If the cat is getting a gift from somebody or a suggestion of something I should get for the cat, then the cat is coming with me. So it's almost like, no, it's not almost like, it's exactly like, my soul is saying, okay, quick, send her this text. So she's just go down this road about this, that, the other thing. But what was fun today is it was super fun, and it's bigger than just the things that happened. So let me back up for a minute, because this is really important for me and important to relay so that one can see their own story in it. So I'm moving down this road and leaving everything literally behind, except the dogs and the cat and a few little things. And I know the date that I'm leaving, and then where am I going? So I was playing with that, and a dear friend here said to me, you can go to our cabin. You can go, which I've been to before. You can go to, which actually I've done some lives and recordings from before too. But you can go there. We're not going to be there. It works out. I can't, with work, you can't take the weekend to do it. So I'd love to have you stay there. So that came in, and I got to take, so it would be scheduled on the day I leave here, April 26th. Then I would go up to the cabin, which is in the mountains. It's actually over, you go over the Cascade Mountains, so hopefully it won't be snowing. And it's up in the mountains, and there's a big reservoir lake there, and all sorts of backcountry, and so perfect. And then he said, well, let me check on, the timing in case there's nothing else scheduled there, but you should be able to. So that was set that I could go April 26th, the day I leave here. And so now I know that I'm getting in the truck and I'm driving out that gate and I'm going over the big America's version of the Alps. That's what they're referred to. Lovely mountains. So I'll go over those and stay at the cabin and just chill for a little bit and really then start to work on creations and ideas and building the business. And so that was a lovely thought. And that came in a confirmation of that. I guess it was late yesterday or something. And so that got me thinking in a very appreciative way, okay, well, that's terrific, because that's what I was hoping. I kept saying, when I leave here, I really need at least a week to just completely detox and from the last 7 years and get fully in my heart and really in creating mode and on the business. I'm not sure how I was going to do that with living in a truck. So that was perfect. And then I was very excited about that. And then I thought, okay, well, then what next? So, I've taken a step and I'm out there flying. And what next? And where do I go? And it's different. The thought of that was different in a travel trailer because I go different places in the general direction going southeast, but the route I take and the length of time it takes me to get there is determined by Gaia and my heart and soul and self and where I'm nudged to go. And, that looks like an interesting road, or this is here. And because got the, the house on my back or underneath my feet. And so the quality of that changed a little because I thought, well, the comfort level in my truck with three, I'm not sure everybody comprehends how interesting a task this is going to be. Because, I was skirting the comprehension of it, but I've skipped that. I fully comprehend what it is. So I thought, well, that's more kind of survival thing, and I can do it, and we could all survive, but the whole idea was to change my life so that I would thrive. So that made me get in this kind of not spinning, but okay, well, I could do this and that wouldn't cost that much money, and then I could go here and I could work that, and then, well, I guess I would go there. And so I thought, I have to stop this because I'm reaching into the old to fix the old, quote unquote, like everybody wants to fix the banking system. Not going to happen. And not with an old mindset, but just since I had discomfort level or my alignment with my heart's desire and this new thing wanting to bring forward was not in sync with the picture that was kind of unfolding, and then hence the languaging, because it was all not negative and not diminished or small, but just not looking at the biggerness, the field, and holding really fierce to those boundaries that I've set, that I will not go to the smaller boundaries. So I thought, okay, well, great. How do I do that? Okay, well, then I thought, well, maybe if I can just figure out a plan, do I go and choose a state in which to domicile and get my driver's license, everything moved over because it'd be much less to buy if I could work a deal to somehow get a mortgage and buy a travel trailer. It's going to be much cheaper than here because depending on the county that you're in this state, it's 9.5% or more just for sales tax. That's a big whack because a lot of the ones, domicile ones, are 4.5% sales tax with no income tax. And so the two I was looking at would be South Dakota and Texas. So I thought about that and I thought, well, okay, I could not race, but I could go in the general direction if I'm choosing South Dakota as my domicile place, go in that general direction. I have a wonderful friend who's in the state Wyoming nearby and visit that and go domicile over there. It's one night you stay and you get driver's license paperwork, all that kind of stuff. And if I could do it all at once, maybe find a RV dealer and get all that stuff. And then I've got the home. Okay, now it takes on a different complexion. But I had some things I wanted to do around here. Go visit a dear friend that I lived with for a bunch of years, and she and her partner cats are out living. So I thought, well, that would be nice, but I can't go over the mountain, then go that way and then go back that way because, gas. So I thought, thinking of the wrong things, focusing on the wrong things. And yes, they're real, tangible. I think we're at $5+ a gallon, and it doesn't take very long to burn through a gallon of gas in a truck. So yes, they're tangible, and yes, you have to be realistic, and yes, there are concerns, especially since the pot of greenbacks that pay for the gas right now is not a very big pot, and there's nothing coming into that pot. Still thinking of the wrong things. Goes back to, remember, Beezy, remember, it's not an intellectual exercise. The out there doesn't get out there until I put it out there. And anything that is currently out there or left over from being out there, from being put out there from here, is coming from two different places. One, it's coming from the old energy frequencies, much denser frequencies, and a much more alive false construct than the rate at which the false construct is, unwinding and unbinding. So that dramatically changes the differential between what's in here on the inside that's going to be put out there. And it's also reflecting a more hyper accelerated in the torquing and unwinding perception of what's out there. So I'm looking in the wrong place. Okay, so how do I get past this feeling? Because I kept saying, I think, I could go here, but I'd like to be alive, like enlivened. And so it doesn't matter whatever you're creating, that's a boundary, that's a intentional focus that is important, essential, vital, elemental to keep as your rock solid, fierce boundary on that. So then I started playing with that a little bit more, and I thought, well, yeah, cool, but now I'm just scripting the same kind of small life, waiting till I'm just doing it in a truck on wheels. That's kind of dumb. So what I do, I went back inside. I went for a walk. I sat on the porch. I pet my dog or my cat. I mean, all of these things. And I, for 5 minutes here, 2 minutes there, because I'm busy doing a full-time job and all these other kinds of stuff. So I don't have the leisure to take as long as it takes. I'd love to, but I don't, which is why I like to learn to do these things with my eyes wide open, literally, so I can have 5 minutes leaning on the tool and go through this, and I get a lot of benefit from it without having to sit down and be everything perfectly quiet and so on and so forth. That's, to me, is not a balance. I mean, that's great, and I do it when I can, and I do it beautifully and enjoy the deliciousness of it. But for me, the balance is that I came into the linear world, and so I will find an effortless way to do both of these same things, multidimensionality and the linear, at the same time. So I did. this time again. And I backed out of all of that. I thought, okay, well, what would be fun? And so I just gave voice to what would be fun, that could have a feeling of ease, that I could find some places that I could camp and do the same, going southeasterly direction in a meandering pace, but maybe find a place to stay for 3 or 4 or 5 days and do what my original plan, which was to be nudged and follow and do that, and let go of, keep an eye on the costs and the piles of money and lack thereof, and keep an eye on that. Be present with that, work that into, again, what I'm drawing forward and what I'm building in here and putting out there, but take the bite out of it, take the shift out of it. It's the perspective shift. So I did it. I spent a considerable amount of time last night doing that. I was doing other things, but at the same time, if I was doing something on the keyboard computer, I would take a breath and I would just, kind of set myself back from that. And so I might take really conscious breaths for, I don't know, 20 seconds, and then go back to what I was doing. And then if I notice something in my head starting to go, or kind of thinking about planning, and then I would change it again. And so just very intentional, just kind of doing something and stop for a minute, doing something and stop for a minute. And it changed everything about me. So then I had some other thoughts, and then some things started to happen. A friend, very good friend who I wanted to see over here, she had mentioned, well, there might be this person, she lives in a place where the person who owns the land has a bunch of different hookups, and people rent, it's a monthly, long term, so monthly, yearly kind of thing. And she said, well, there's this person who might be moving out, not sure, and that's a possibility, and we'll see. And I thought, we were all thinking, well, maybe I'd be a week there and that would be great. I'd pay for it, but it would be a place and friends and all that kind of stuff. So it just so happens when yesterday afternoon late, I got the confirmation that the cabin was all set, and it's from April 26th to early in the morning, May 6th. Yay, that's cool. It's a familiar place. It's in the wild. It's beautiful. It has internet. So I can work and do all that stuff. So then I was thinking, okay, great. So how do I keep that momentum? How do I keep that I created to come forth to me? How do I keep going with that? And then I heard from my friend, and she said, well, it looks like, we think this guy is leaving, and I have to get a hold of the owner and see, is that space available, or has he already rented it for long term, or would he consider renting it to you even if you're not in a rig, and all that kind of stuff. And so today she called, and I had a break from work, and I was in the back of my truck, making the bed platform, finishing that and doing some other stuff. And thank God I'm short, because even I was cricked over the whole time to do it. So I was doing that, the phone rang, or a text came through, and she said, well, it looks like, the person left and the space is there, and the guy will, he's amenable to renting it for you. This would be the whole monthly price, and it was just the month and all that kind of stuff. And so we talked a little bit about it, and I noticed that part of it was intentional. The linear side of me, who's keeping track of, not to be miserly and pinched off, but just to pay attention to get good value for what you're doing, make the little pile of greenbacks go as far as they can, and get so that you feel a good exchange of value from there, because that's also helping people to shift out of their old sense of that into a new. And the rest of me was getting excited because the water is very important to me, and this is right on the water. It's on the Salish Sea, so right around Puget Sound, and it's been several years since I've been able to get enough time off from here to go to see the water, so it's been a way long time. Anyways, it came to fruition, and that'll work. So I'll do that. That's the next place, and then I'll move on from there. I'll still want to have to sort of get a gauge of in the general direction, but it gives me the window. So here's one of the very fun parts about it, because I had kind of different I spoke about one of these last night about my friend who helped me build the little platform to put the cot mat on and stuff. And I'd had a vision that, we would play together and we would do some fun stuff, and he would be showing me, dump stations and all that kind of stuff. Who thought that would be so much fun? Anyways, and I had that moment, I had that time. We had just friend time, and work was completely taken out of it. We weren't, bonding over dump stations and, how you hook up the different things on a trailer, but we were bonding over how you sleep on a bed that's, 24 inches wide and 60 inches long with the glass and metal on either end. So if you bump out of your space, you're going to notice it. And with 2 dogs and a cat. So it was fun. It was nice to be doing woodwork again, because I used to do some of that. And it was nice to be chatting and working together on a project. So that was very nice. I thought, well, I got what I wanted, right? I got that time. I got that good friend time with a job out of it, and send me off on my way in a memory that was really fun. It was built on friendship and all that kind of stuff. So I got it. It came out differently, but I got it. And then I was, so I was thinking, well, what I wanted to do is have this time off and then get recharged and get inspiration back and my strategic, intuition flowing, and just create the business and the life I want. That's fun. Because it's fun and it's expansive, it's gonna, attract people who want to be fun and expansive and do their own creation as well. So I thought, well, the cabin is a place of that. And then this came, and this is like, because the water is so important to me, and the dogs love walking on the beach and photography and all that kind of stuff. Now we're getting into, then this is a dream. Now this is why you go and do this. This is the kind of stuff that makes all of the, right now, the uncertainty or the really scrunched down view different and workable. And what it really is a wonderful thing of is, and I've been super good at this, is do not be attached to anything. Be really full-throated and open-hearted about what you want and the specifics of it and the energetic of it, which is most important, and moving through that, but don't hold on to it, that it has to be. Recognize the parts that you've given voice to, the parts that you've created and thought, and that your soul has confirmed and bringing to that, and recognize the parts that your master guides and all of your team have been working on. So when you see little pieces of it that show up in a slightly different way, like you were looking for this red thing, I mean, this red tool was going to be so great and just what you wanted. Well, it's a black tool and it's velvety instead of satin, right? But it's going to give you another step. So we recognize the essence of what it is that you put out there that was magnificent, that was grand, that had all of these things. And when you get something in, recognize part of your thing in there. It's not that it's was missent or whatever, it's just coming in a different way. So here's a really good example. And trust, and don't hold on to the money, don't hold on to the energetic, don't hold on to the vision in the way that it's gotta be this or I'm not gonna be happy, right? Don't hold on to any of that. Trust it. So for example, I do have to pay attention, I mean, it's not like I've ever had so much money I didn't have to pay attention to it, but right now I gotta really pay attention to it. But I can't hold on to it. And I can't be going, oh my God, I can't spend this because, I can't do that. I can look at it and say, well, this amount of greenbacks, wow, how can I get the most amount of value exchange for it so that I can really, in a very demonstrable way, say yes. I can look at this, I can pay attention to the ego mind linear going, oh, that pile's going to get a lot smaller. Yes, but the value that I will exchange and get for this will outweigh any kind of mind thought spinning on the fact that the pile has gone down, which means that I have less available. And since there's not coming in, right, exchange of value coming in to me to then flow out. So I trusted that way back when I was looking at, do I get the camper top or not? Is that it's not limiting, the delivery of my travel trailer, which is coming, hasn't been delivered yet, but it's coming. No, it doesn't diminish that. And trusting to take this pile and put that, because the value, the exchange of value that I would get on all levels for doing that will be huge. Well, it was. It was. Because when I trusted, that's a whole energetic vibration that I'm in. And when I was blending that with the calling forth and the bringing in, and said, yes, that feels good. And for these kinds of reasons. And also it will help be a release of a pressure valve that was going to instigate all sorts of really not helpful at all, detrimental vibrations to ease that up, right? By having at least a place that's tiny and cramped, but nonetheless, it's mine, and I can go, and it is survivable. Okay. So in that act of trusting and taking that big, not almost half, not quite, but almost, and putting it there and trusting and getting that exchange of value. See, so that it was, because it's not just a, count the greenbacks, but it's heart-based. It's the, because the ego mind can be very helpful in helping you sort and resource and do these kinds of things. So I thought, yes, I want to do that. And so I set the appointment. I was all committed to that, and it would be good. And yes, I have to keep an eye on the money and really get with the creation and make it so that money flows in. But I trusted. And so I hadn't given the money, exchanged it yet for the thing, but I set that whole thing going up. And so because I had that trust, which, because of the ratio, that was a big leap, huge leap on all different levels. And I did that. And so I leapt with that. I octaved up, I leveled up, and I added weight and vitality and magnetizing power to my heart's desires, my trinity of my heart, soul, and self, of what I want to create and materialize and bring forward out of thin air. I magnetized, I amplified that, because that set off a whole chain where out of the blue these things happen. And all of a sudden, the camper top was not only had an exchange of value outside of me from someone else, but it was in a totally out of the blue way, which meant a lot to me. It was conversations for my soul and confirmation and signs and signals that you're not only in the relation to the beings that had given it completely out of character and all that kind of stuff, but in those signals coming forward that I'm moving it. So all of a sudden this piece of money going to go over there didn't have to go there, but it will, because it's still, I let it out of the box, right? So I'm going to let it flow. I'm spending it on some other things that would be very useful. So now I have both of those things, but I also had the other exchange coming in, aside from the camper top and stuff, tangible, was a tangible feeling and knowing and signs and signals directly from my soul in a concrete, external to me way. Well, that's priceless, man. I mean, that's priceless. So this trusting and this flow, when you're intentional about it and you see where that exchange of value, that's part of what that phrase means, is exchange of value. You're in the flow. It's the in-breath and the out-breath. You're not holding on to anything. It's the in-breath and the out-breath. And the more glorious the out-breath, the more glorious the flowing out of, whether it's money or anything else, and trusting trusting, trusting, boy, the more glorious it rolls in. So now I have a camper top that I didn't take my money to pay for. And I had a wonderful time with my friend who helped me build something that I will laugh about for years, is this tiny little bench to sleep on. And Xander's going to think he's going to jump right up and sleep on there too. Bonk his nose in the window. I mean, this stuff is priceless, man. You can't you can't get this anywhere. So you have that, and then now you flow and you've got this wonderful cabin to go stay. You don't have to rent, it's just an exchange, and that's there. And that's wonderful, and can be, I can do some wonderful photography for the house, for them, whatever. Okay, then you've got this other thing opened up. Now I get to go to a place that's on the coast and beach walks every morning at dawn, and photography and really great fun time, and have a real vacation. Oh my God, I haven't had that in more than 7 years of time to do stuff, to be creative in my business, to be loving and enjoying that, and connecting and really inspiring myself and others with that, and be alive and be with my toes in the sand, and my dog's just having an absolute ball, right? And sitting for a spell in a chair with the sun on my face and fully connecting, because it all started in a snowball of trusting and being in that dance. It's not an intellectual exercise. It's not. That's not how it works. This is how it works. And if you can stay out of those bits of fear and frustration and, oh, are we ever going to be there? And because I'm right there with it, you know. But that's how we get it. And we keep in that dance, and we keep flowing, and we keep going, and we stay fierce, fierce about our intentions and our boundaries, and we make the decision, I will not go backwards in that way anymore. There is nothing to fix. I will start and create forward from here, because I'm so good at it. Look at all the other stuff I created. Yeah, I didn't like a lot of it, but so that was my cool day, and I'm looking forward to me leveling up even more, and me stepping into more mastery, and me creating more stuff and playing with you directly. I love you.